Blessings, welcome, 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 family, welcome, welcome, welcome. Family, what I'm about to show you this evening, most people have never even thought about it. Most people miss it. It has never entered the mind of most people, and a lot of scholars have argued over it. Okay? What I'm going to show you is that there is more than one creation. Okay? I'm going to show you three different creations. Okay? That's what I'll be showing you this evening. The three different creations. And I'm going to show it to you in a way that you'll be able to identify it every time you read the book of Genesis. You'll be able to conversate on it. You'll be able to point to scriptures, okay, that actually show it. That actually show it. Three different creations. It's not an argument. It's there in the scriptures and it is established. It's just hidden from most. But like I always say, when we walk with the Holy Spirit, He shares special things with us. So blessings to all and welcome to all. This is Rest on Seventh Ministries, and I'm a servant of the Lord. And the name of this session is called Hidden Creations Exposed. Hidden Creations Exposed. Okay, so blessings to everyone out there. And we have a big house to build today. All right. So we have a lot of wood to cut down. All right. So let's get to cutting. Let's get to cutting. I'll be saying each scripture, chapter, book, chapter, and verse. Okay. And I'll give you a little time to get to it. I'll give you a little time to get to it. But this is a very involved session. So please, if you can, family, take out some paper, bring a pen or a pencil, and take notes and write down all the scriptures. And later on, when you get a chance, go back to them. Read those particular verses and chapters that we read together, and then read the subsequent verses before and after what we read so you can get more content. All right, family? First, we're going to start in the book of Genesis. Okay, we're going to start in the book of Genesis. We'll be starting at the first chapter and the first verse. First chapter and the first verse. And while you guys get to it, we can be reached at Rest on Seventh Ministries at gmail.com. And for donation, $ Sabbath, keep us 77 if you're feeling charitable. And if you like my content, please ring that content bell, okay, give it a thumbs up, and leave a comment. If you have any thoughts or any questions, leave a comment, okay, and I'll address it on the next live session, okay. Also, if you leave comments, okay, in the chat, you speak on the chat, or you leave comments, I'll shout you out in the future, all right. So blessings and shout out to the whole family out there in the world. Okay, so we're at Genesis. We're in the first chapter, and we are at the first verse. So let's get it. Let's get it. Okay. In the beginning, Elohim, God, created the heaven and the earth. Right away, when Genesis opens up, Yahweh is showing us that in the beginning, He created one heaven and one earth. One heaven and one earth in the beginning. Now, drop down to verse 2. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the spirit of Elohim, God, moved upon the face of the waters. And the darkness and the earth was without form. Without form, meaning in the Hebrew word, in the Hebrew translation, tohu, tohu, okay? It was tohu. It was formless, okay? It was a wreck, okay? It was confusion, a place of chaos and vanity, tohu. That is what without form here, the word tahu means. Okay? It was a place of chaos, formlessness, confusion, vanity. That is what that means. And then it says, and void. The word void here is bohu, bohu. And the meaning of the Hebrew word bohu is an undistinguishable ruin. It was an undistinguishable ruin. It was beautiful at once, but now it's a ruin. Okay, now it's a ruin. And it says here, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the spirit of Elohim moved upon the face of the waters. And Elohim said, let there be light. And there was light. And Elohim saw the light, that it was good. And Elohim divided the light from the darkness. He divided the light from the darkness. And Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Now, as we're in Genesis and we're opening up, right? You're opening up your Bible, and let's say you're beginning and you get to the beginning here and you're reading this, okay? Let me explain to you the understanding of this. All right, I already explained to you what without form and void means, okay? Let me explain to you this light. This light, okay? In the third verse, it says, and Elohim said, let there be light, and there was light. And Elohim saw the light that it was good. And Elohim divided the light from the darkness. Okay? Now, this light in the Hebrew tongue is called oreh. Oreh. That's what it's called, oreh, in the Hebrew tongue. And it means light of face. It means light of life, light of prosperity, light of Israel. That's the meanings of that word. Oreh. Oreh. Again, it means light of face, light of life, light of prosperity, light of Israel. Now let's look at the word darkness here. Because you see in verse 2, it says, and the earth was without form, tohu, and void, bohu. We know what that means. And darkness was upon the face of the deep. And I got to give you this so you know the difference between this light and this darkness. Now, darkness here in the Hebrew tongue is called koshek. Koshek. That's what it's called in the Hebrew tongue. Now, the meaning of koshek is dark, misery, death, destruction, ignorance, sorrow, wickedness. So this light, that the meaning of ore is light of face, right? Light of life, okay? Light of prosperity, light of Israel. That's what ore, the light, is. When he said, let there be light. And darkness was upon the face of the deep. Now, again, this darkness, koshek means misery, death, destruction, ignorance, sorrow, wickedness. That's the difference between the two. So we find here in this 4th verse, and Elohim saw the light that it was good. And Elohim divided the light from the darkness. And Elohim called the light day. And the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Family, that's why man gets up and they do all their work in the day. And in the night they sleep. In the darkness they sleep. But what goes on in the night? The beasts of the field, the beasts are up and about. The beasts, they're up and about. Meaning, nighttime is the time for the beasts. The day, the light, is for men. So the beasts have their place, and man has their place. So right here, from the first chapter and the first verse of Genesis to the second verse, is speaking about the first creation. Okay? In the beginning, Elohim created the heaven and the earth. One heaven, one earth. One heaven, one earth. And the earth was without form. Tahu. It was wasted. It was confusion, chaos, and void. It was an undescribable, unrecognizable ruin. So, in that creation, there was war and chaos, okay? And darkness was upon the face of the deep. Yah's telling you, darkness was upon the face of the deep, where the beasts are, down in the dark. And where was he at? Well, Elohim moved upon the face of the waters. So you have the waters, you have the face is the top. So Elohim is above the waters, right? Now darkness is on the face of the deep. So you have the waters, the deep is underneath the waters. And you have him above it. So what you're being told here is at one time there was one heaven and one earth. We live right now in a heaven. We walk on heaven, and we live in earth. We walk on earth. Where we walk at, that's the firm ground we walk on, the earth, and the air, the open space, all the way to where you could see the sun, the moon, and the stars. This is our heaven. So right now in this creation, we exist in one heaven and one earth. Yes, man has his own heaven. We have our own heaven, and that's where we exist at. Our earth and our heaven is in the dark realm. That's where we're at right now. We're on the deep. Now, when you read this, obviously, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Okay? Obviously, if there's one heaven and there's one earth, obviously in that creation, Yahweh, he was amongst men. He lived with men. He tabernacled with men. That's why there's only one heaven and one earth. But then when everything happened, when the war happened, when Satan fell and you had chaos and all of that, Yah would destroy that. He would destroy that creation because of everything that happened. Now, in order for you to get better understanding of everything I'm saying, after you go through this particular session, okay, with me, go back and also watch the revelation of the wheat and the tares, and watch the tares are being exposed. So now, if you watch those two sessions and this one, you'll understand everything I'm saying. You'll understand everything that I'm saying in regards to Yah destroying that first creation. Okay? But again, just to give you a better understanding, if there was one heaven and there was one earth, that means that Yahweh tabernacled amongst men in that one heaven and that earth. As a matter of fact, when you read the scriptures, you read about his mountain. You read about his mountain. Yahusha said in the New Testament when he came in the flesh, he said, I saw Satan thrown off the mountain of God as lightning. So in that mountain of God was in that creation when it mentions the mountain of God. Okay? Now, in the second verse, at the end of the second verse, it says, Elohim moved upon the face of the waters. Like I said, the face of the waters would be above the waters. Above the waters. So that means, what that's telling you is that now he's in his own heaven. Because the earth and the heaven that was is in darkness and in water on the face of the deep. So he's above the waters. And the spirit of Elohim moved upon the face of the waters. So that means he's disparate. He removed himself because he's totally disparate from sin. He can't be in a sinful world. Just like when the sins was put on his son, Yahushua, what did he do? He had to turn his back on his son. He had to turn his back on his son until his son was crucified. Then when his son gave up the breath, then he went to his son because he had already conquered sin. But in this fallen creation, he can't be a part of that. So now you see him above the waters in his own heaven. Right there, family, that's the first creation. That's where chaos will happen and war happened. We're not here to look at the reason why the war happened. That's not what we're looking at this evening. We're looking to make sense of the different creations. We're looking to identify it and show that no. There's other creations here. That is what we're looking at. Now, I want to get another thing straight with you. I want to get one more thing straight with you. Because I really want there to be understanding about this so that no one can argue you down or tell you different, okay? And again, blessings to everyone and welcome, welcome, welcome. It says here in the 3rd verse, and Elohim said, let there be light. Elohim said, let there be light. And there was light. And Elohim saw the light, that it was good. And this word good in the Hebrew tongue, it means upright. It means upright. It means set apart. It means basically holy. Okay? This word good. This word good. So Elohim saw the light, that it was good, and Elohim divided the light from the darkness. Put a hook on that. I explained to you what this light, the meaning of this light is in the Hebrew tongue, oreh. And he divided the light from the darkness. I explained to you what this darkness means. The Hebrew word choshech. Okay? Now I want to show you something. Put a hook on what I just said. Okay? And let's go to the book of John real quick. The Gospel of John, 1st chapter and the 1st verse. So what you're going to do is put a marker here in Genesis and go to the book of John, the Gospel of John. Okay? And go to the 1st chapter and the 1st verse of John. I want to show you something real quick, because this is how the Spirit moves us. And may He bless this session, and may He direct us in His Holy Spirit, and may your eyes be open to this truth and your ears be open to this truth and your heart that you perceive and understand. May He touch every one of you watching and everyone that gets their hand on this session and watches this live stream. So in the name of Yahushua, we say amen. Okay. We're in the Gospel of John. We're in the 1st chapter. We're in the 1st verse. Let's read this real quick. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. And the Word was God. So this Word, who is Yahusha, He is the Word. He, in the beginning, was the Word. So the Word, Yahusha, He was there in the beginning. And the Word was with Elohim, God. He was with Elohim in the beginning. Elohim, Yahweh, the Most High, our Father. And the Word was Elohim. And being the Son, the only begotten of the Father, He was Elohim, the Word, Yahusha. The same who, the Word, was in the beginning with God, with Elohim. So John, he doubles down on it. He doubles down on it. So you understand exactly what he's saying. Let's go forward. Look at this. All things were made by him. By who? Who is the last subject? Elohim. Which Elohim? The Son, the Word. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life. In the Word, the life was in him. And the life was past tense, the light of men. So Yahushua, who is the Word, he was there in the beginning with the Father. And he had life, Life, in him. And that life that was in him was, past tense, the light of men. It was the light of men. Okay? And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness overcame it not. So, Elohim is above the waters. In the deep, there's darkness and there's a fallen world. And Elohim is on top in his heaven now, separated from this fallen world. And he's peering down into the darkness, into the fallen world. And he says, let there be light. And the men of light appear. The men of light appear. Now, in the book of Jeremiah, you're going to find that the dark one, Satan, who was a murderer from the beginning, you're going to find that it says he didn't open up his prison. He didn't open up his prison and let his prisoners go. So when the spirit of Elohim is moving above the waters and he's peering down into the darkness and he says, let there be light, the men of light appear because darkness couldn't overcome them. Because they're holy, they're light. So the darkness couldn't overcome them. They weren't in prison. So he seen that they were good, they're upright, they're holy. And so he said, come here. He took his light, his children. And he separated them, took them out of that dark, fallen world and separated them. So where would he take this light, these men? Because it says here in John, in him was life. In who? In the Word. In Yahushua was life. Life. And the life that was in him was the light of men. So these are the men of light. That they got that light, which is their life, from Yahusha. He created them. The Father created them through Yahusha, through the Word. And when everything went down, Yahweh said, let there be light. And the light and we appeared. The men of light appeared. And he took his light and he separated it from the darkness. And it says here in the book of John, in the 5th verse of the 1st chapter, in the Gospel of John. And he felt the need to tell you this. He felt the need to let us know this. Why? Because the Father wants us to know this about ourselves. Now, family, I can't do, when I teach this truth, a lot of individuals don't subscribe to it, and that is okay. That is okay. This truth is meant for the chosen ones. It's meant for the chosen ones. So that's okay. We find here John saying, And the light, in the 5th verse, and the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness overcame it not. The darkness couldn't overcome that. So we go back to Genesis. We go back to Genesis. So we find that in Genesis, we find that in the 3rd verse, it says, and Elohim said, let there be light, and there was light. They were there. The darkness couldn't hold them. The prison of the dark one couldn't hold them. It couldn't overcome them. They were holy. They were disparate from darkness. They were good. Okay? And Elohim saw the light that it was good, and Elohim divided the light from the darkness. And Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. So when the book opens up, it's showing a fallen world. That was the first creation. Yah calls his sons from that fallen world and takes his son, the men of light that receive that light from the word, he calls them forth, and he separates them from the darkness. So light goes back to light. So being that Yah is above the waters in his heaven now, he has his own heaven, totally separate from the fallen world. Light will go with light and be with him. In other words, he would take his sons and bring them up to him. Okay? And now, he wouldn't make a full end of the destruction. He would start to rebuild it. We're not here to talk about why he will rebuild it. We're not here to answer questions on why did he just destroy Satan, Prince Mastema at the time. We're not here for that. We're just going to show the different creations right now. Those things need to be tackled another time, right, family? Okay. All too many times, people want to discuss the scriptures and ask questions and answer questions like it's a simple yes or simple no. I haven't experienced too many times where there's simple questions and just simple answers, yes or no, to determine what's going on in the scriptures. It takes time, right? So right now, we just had a look at the first creation. So now he's starting the second creation. Now he's starting the second creation. Okay? Verse 6. And Elohim said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters. Midst meaning the middle of the waters. Meaning the middle of the waters. Oh, brother, come on, man. Well, everyone knows that the light that was called forth was the sun. Everyone knows that it was Yahusha that was called forth. That's who the light was now. No. When you think that way, you make error, not knowing the scriptures. Throughout the New Testament and in the book of Revelations, Yahusha himself tells you that he is the Amen, that he is the first of our Father's creation. He is the first thing that was created. So you know it's not Yahusha. Yahusha is not that light that when he said, let there be light. Yahusha is not that light. Because you already had darkness, you already had water, you already had a fallen earth, you already had those things. And Yahusha is before all of that. All those things were created through him, even the darkness. So no, that's not talking about Yahusha. Okay? So we find here between verses 6 and 7, which let me read through that again, starting at verse 6. And Elohim said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. So now it's telling you right here that from that point, with a fallen world, where there's a fallen world, there's water, the earth is in a ruin down there and it's empty. After Yahweh called his children forth, the men of light, and he would separate them, he will begin to rebuild. He will begin to rebuild. Now, one thing I don't want anyone to get caught up on, or don't limit yourself, or don't limit Yah, is in how much time passed. How much time passed before he called the light forth? We don't know how much time between the war and the chaos that happened to the time when he said, let there be light. We don't know how much time passed before he went back and said, okay, I'm going to rebuild that creation. Because with Yah, there's a plan in everything that he's doing. There's a plan. Even at that time, he knew what was going to happen going forward. He's always known. He's always known. And this is all his plan. So we need to keep that in mind as well, okay? And we need to get an idea. The reason why I like to explain about these creations is because you have to get an idea about this perpetual seed of evil and how long it's been around and how long this battle has been going on. This battle has been going on for a long time. A long time. And I'm sure if we knew just how long, we wouldn't be able to conceive of it. It's inconceivable. Okay? So these are things that need to be pondered and prayed on, okay? But we find here that Yah said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. So now all that water that's there, he made a firmament in the middle. So this is the water, right? This is the darkness in the water here, right? And the earth is in that water, and in that darkness is still there, formless. So now he creates a firmament, a space in the middle of the water. And he separates the waters on top from the waters on the bottom. Okay? And let it divide the waters from the waters. And Elohim made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And Elohim called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. This is the second day as he starts to recreate. This is the second day where he made the firmament and called the firmament heaven. So that's another heaven. He's above in his heaven. When the chaos again ensued and everything had disparity, he made his own heaven and reside in his own heaven, and the children of light reside there with him. So now over here, he reconstructs and he makes a division in the water. He makes a firmament and he called it heaven. So now, with that first heaven, right, With the first heaven that was there, right? In the beginning, Elohim created the heaven and the earth. Okay? That heaven and that earth was destroyed. It was darkness. Water was there. He's disparate. He makes his own heaven. So that's one heaven. And then he recreates this heaven. That's two heavens. That's two heavens. There's the heaven that he's in, and now the heaven that he just created, separating the firmament. Man's heaven. Man's heaven. Okay? And the evening and the morning were the second day. So he would start from the moment he would start this creation. The first day would come when he would call the light forth, and the light would come forth, and he would take the light away from the darkness and separate them. Okay? Now, let's go to let's stay in the first chapter, and let's go to the 20th verse of Genesis. First chapter of Genesis, 20th verse. Let's drop down to there, because we're gonna jump around. Okay, we're not gonna read everything because right now it's not necessary. Okay, so we're in the 20th verse of the first chapter of Genesis, and it says, "And Elohim said, Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. And Elohim created great sea monsters and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after its kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim blessed them, saying, Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day." So on the fifth day, Elohim said, Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. So he created the great sea monsters and every living creature that moveth, okay, which the waters brought forth abundantly. That was on the fifth day. There's a reason why we're jumping around, and I read that to you. So put a hook in that. Put a hook in that, okay? Once you see it and you see the different creations, you cannot unsee them. Once you see them, you cannot unsee them, family. Okay? So let's leapfrog. Let's go to the 26th chapter. The 26th verse. I'm sorry. Same chapter, chapter 1, 26th verse. All right, let's get it. And Elohim said, Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea. Pause for a second because you need to understand something, family. When you don't walk with Yah, when you do not walk with Yah, you're not walking in his truth, you're not honoring his commandments, your sins have not been cleansed by the blood of the Mashiach, you're in the image of Elohim. But he still looks at you like you're a beast of the earth. You belong in darkness. you're for the darkness. Because, yeah, you're in his image, but you're not in his likeness. To be in the image and likeness of Yahweh, okay, you have to have his spirit. So, man that walks in darkness, they may be in his image, but they're not in his likeness. Those who have been called, who have repented for their sins, who have been cleansed of their sins and given the spirit, you are now in the image and the likeness of Yahweh. So that's important. That's important. Not just important for what we're studying today, but it's important to know that as you read through the scriptures. Because then you could tell who's who. Let's go forward. Let's go forward. And let's pick that up from the top with what we know. And Elohim said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Now, this word man, in the Hebrew tongue is called Adam, Adam, Adam. Okay, in the Hebrew tongue, Adam. That means man. In the Hebrew, Adam. In the English, it's Adam. In the Hebrew, it's Adam. This Adam means man. It means man. Okay? So understand that. And yes, at times when we read the scriptures of the family, it's a good thing for us to get the true meaning of a word. We want to look in the Strong's lexicon. We want to look in the Hebrew lexicon to find out the true meaning of words. Because once you know the true meaning, it makes a big difference, right? So, and Elohim said, let us make Adam in our image, after our likeness, and let them, not and let him, and let them, meaning in this creation, there's more than one man being made. There's more than one man being made in this creation. Okay? And I'm going to show that to you. All right? And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over the cattle and over all the earth and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Why? Because that was already created in this creation here. Remember, we stopped and read that about the fifth day when he created the fowls and the great sea monsters out of the water and stuff, right? We read about that. We know that in this 6-day creation, the herbs, the animals, everything was created and made beautiful. And the last thing that was made was Adam, man. Okay? So we read it for them to have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over the cattle and over all the earth and over every creeping thing. They were to have dominion. These men, Adam, man, meaning more than one. Okay. Verse 27. So Elohim created Adam, man, in his own image. In the image of Elohim created he him. Now, so Elohim, the Father, created Adam in his own image. In the image of Elohim, the image of his son, that's why it said again, in the image of Elohim created he, Elohim, he, him. Him. So Adam, the individual, is a him, and it says here, male and female created he, them. Now, I hate to trip y'all up and to bust bubbles and things of that nature, but there comes a time, man, when we were kids, we thought like kids. But when we became adults, we put foolish things aside. And we thought like adults. When we were children in regard to our understanding of the scriptures, we thought like children. But then there comes a time when we got to grow up in the scriptures. Time is short, and we need to get full understanding. Okay? So, with my little soliloquy, let's go forward and let's read that verse again. So, Elohim created man in his own image, and the image of Elohim created he, him. Male and female created he, them. I said male and female. I didn't say man and woman. There is a male spirit and there is a female spirit. You don't see a her. You don't read nothing about a woman in this creation. You haven't seen a her, and you have not seen whoop man. You're reading about Adam, man, in this creation. And this man, and Elohim created, and in the image of Elohim created he, him. This him, this man, Adam, is male and female. Created he, them. The reason why it's a them is because there's mankind, this particular mankind, this species, this copy of Elohim. This is a copy of Elohim. This is a copy of Elohim. And this copy of Elohim is Adam, man. And this copy of Elohim, this Adam, this man, is a him. And this him is male and female. And created he, them. There's more than one. There's more than one man created here. This is the race of man, Adam. That they're in the image and likeness of Elohim. He, him. One man, each man, he, him, he, Yah, created him. This man, this man, these men, man, because man denotes the species. When you see man, you know what man is. When you look and you see a lot of them, you're going to say men. You're going to say men. So God created man in his own image. In the image of Elohim created he, him, this Adam, this species, this copy of Yahweh, male and female, because Elohim is male and female. When we say male and female, we're talking about the male spirit and the female spirit. Elohim is male and female. And this man that he created, and it lets you know by saying he, him. That's where the mystery lies, in the he, him. This him is male and female in one body in this creation. If I have one body and I have the male and the female in my body, in the one body you got the male and the female. You ain't got no want for nothing else. You ain't got no want for a so-called woman because you have the female spirit. The reason why a man yearns for a woman is because of the spirit of the woman. And the reason why the woman yearns for the man is because of the spirit of the man. Forever yearning, forever searching, because that is your original creation. The original creation is male and female together in one body. So you're always looking for that which was taken from you, that which was separated from you. Why do you think Adam being created out of the dirt of the earth? Why do you think Adam being created out of the dirt of the earth, and when Yah looked to find a helpmate for him, he would create all these things, but in none of them was there a helper for Adam. So he had to open up Adam's side and take the bone out, which represents the female. He took the female out of Adam. At one time, the male and the female was together. At the one time, Adam was together with his consort in his body. But when Yahweh, in all his infinite wisdom, he knew there would have to be a womb. He knew that there would have to be a womb. So he took the female out of Adam and he formed what? The man. The man. The womb. Why do you think Adam followed Eve in eating off of the tree? When y'all put him to sleep and performed the first operation in history, and put him to sleep and opened up his side and took out that bone and formed a woman out of that bone and brought her to Adam, and Adam wakes up and sees her. He was in love. He wasn't just in love because she was fine, because he didn't even know what nakedness was or nothing like that. He loved her so much because she came out of him. She was part of him. That's why he was so in love with her, because he couldn't be without her. You see, the difference between Adam and Eve is that Eve was tricked. I'm going to explain to you what most people won't explain to you. Because most men are like this today with their women. They'll follow their woman into hell, not knowing any better. Adam couldn't be without her. This is the greatest love story ever told. Adam and Eve. It's the greatest love story ever told. Talk about men falling for a woman. He loved. He could not be. She was taken out of him. You see what I'm saying? She was his original makeup. When y'all brought her to him and took her out of him and brought her to, he was like, oh, to see her in front of him, he was like, this is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. We're going to call her Eve. He named her. So, of course, when she ate off of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, Adam wasn't tricked. She was tricked by the serpent. But Adam wasn't tricked. He knew what he was doing, but he couldn't help himself because he loved his consort. Because she came out of him. He loved her more than he loved Elohim. This man of the earth, this man of the sand, he couldn't rise above earth. He could not rise above earth. She's made out of earth. She's from him. He's created from the earth. She's a bone. She's from the earth. She's out of him. He couldn't rise above earthly things. Earth, her. He took her and worshipped her before Yahweh. He loved her before Yahweh, because Yahweh gave him a commandment. Instead of listening to Yahweh, he listened to Eve and followed her. So in this creation is showing you. Come on, brother, you got to give us more than that. This dude, man, I can't get away from this dude. You want more than that to understand this? We don't have much time, but I'll give you one more. Put a marker here. And let's go to the book of Matthew. Let's go to the 19th chapter. Matthew 19th chapter. Put a marker there. Let's go to Matthew 19th chapter. Let's make it quick, family. Matthew 19th chapter. Okay. Let's go to the fourth verse. 19th chapter, fourth verse. Let's get it. Book of Matthew, 19th chapter, fourth verse. Hear the word of Elohim. And he answered and said unto them, this is Yahweh Shah. Okay? This is Yahweh Shah answering. The Pharisees are trying to test him, right? Is it lawful to put away his wife for every cause? Is it lawful for you to put away your wife? And he answered and said unto them, the fourth verse, have ye not read? Have ye not read? He who made them at the beginning, him who made them at the beginning, book of beginnings, Genesis, that's where you got to go. Who made them at the beginning, made them male and female. The two spirits, the male and the female spirits. And said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother. Okay? And shall cleave to his wife, and they two shall be one flesh. And they two shall be one flesh. Okay? Wherefore, they are no more two. Wherefore, they are no more two, but one flesh. What therefore Elohim have joined together, let not man put asunder. You had it from Yahushua's mouth right there. Many people read that and gloss over it, don't even understand what that means. Okay? When you by yourself, and that woman is by herself, what's the one thing you could not do by yourselves? What happened when you leave your mother and your father? and you cling to your wife and you cling to your husband and y'all become one flesh, what happens? You become in the likeness, you become in the image and the likeness of Elohim. Because when you one flesh, you can create. What do you create? You can create life. Like Yahweh creates life. Yahweh, he's male and female. Now, when the male comes together with his consort, the female, when they get together in one flesh, in other words, when they lay together, now they have the power to create like their creator. And they create life like the creator creates life, being male and female. So you get a little taste of what it feels to truly be Elohim when you become together as one, male and female, one flesh. Now you can create, and you create life, a child. Man with man can't do that. Woman with woman can't do that. Let's move forward. Let's move forward. Okay? Back to Genesis. All right? Back to Genesis. All right? So, we find here male and female created he, them. So this Adam that was man was male and female, one flesh. And he made more than one. He made the whole host of them in this creation. More than one. That's why it says created he, them. The them is not the man and the woman, Adam and Eve. No. All right? Verse 28. And Elohim blessed them. And Elohim said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. Okay? Be fruitful. Now, fruitful ain't about having kids, man. Fruitful is being fruitful, providing fruit for the kingdom. Providing fruit from the kingdom. For the kingdom. Remember, there was already one fallen realm. Darkness, evil has already, the perpetual seed of evil has already entered in existence in the first creation that fell, the fallen creation. And he's redoing things. He's saying, now be fruitful and multiply yourselves amongst the earth, because you haven't read nothing yet. You haven't read that he made man from the dirt yet. You haven't read that yet. You haven't read that yet. That these men were created from the dirt. You haven't read that yet. Okay? So I want you to be privy of that. All right? I want you to be privy of that. And you know, we're not going to go into all the little nuances because we just don't have the time. Okay? We want to show the different creation. So you see that, right? So what we're going to do now is we know that man was created on the sixth day. We know that this man was created on the sixth day. We know that this Adam, this race of men, they were created on the sixth day. Now, so let's go to the second chapter, and let's go to the, you know what? Let's go to the 31st verse. 31st verse of the first chapter. The 31st verse of the first chapter. So let's just drop down a few verses, okay? And it says, and Elohim saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. So the man being created, everything he finished on the sixth day. Second chapter, first verse. Thus, the heavens and the earth were finished, The heaven and the earth, the heavens. Thus the heavens. See, now you got more than one heaven. Why? Well, we already read that. Yah had to withdraw from a fallen world with evil and say he can't be part of that. So now he's got his own heaven. He made his own heaven. He's no longer tabernacling with men like he did in that first creation. Now he was above the waters in his own heaven. So he's in his heaven, then he would redo this creation, and now you got more than one heaven. So you got heavens with an S. That's the reason why you got more than one heaven. Okay? Okay. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. In that creation of 6 days, all the hosts, you know what the hosts are? Everyone that's going to live there. And all the hosts of them. When it says of them, all the hosts of the heavens, where our Father resides at, and this heaven here, and the one earth, all the hosts were created already that would inhabit them. That's why it says here, it reads like that. That's why the Spirit is talking to you like that. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them were created. There wasn't no having babies in this creation. All the hosts was already done. They would inhabit those heavens and the earth. Okay? And on the seventh day, Elohim ended his work, which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day. That's why this is called Rest on Seventh Ministries. To rest on the seventh day, the Sabbath rest. And again, verse 2, and on the seventh day, Elohim ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And Elohim blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which Elohim created and made. Boom. That's one creation. I showed you so far 2 creations. I promised you 3. Here's the third creation. Verse 4. These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created in the day that Yahweh Elohim made the earth and the heavens. All of a sudden now, what do you see different? What do you see Yahweh now on the scene? Don't you? In the other creations, Yahweh, the Father being one in the Son, he wasn't mentioned, Yahweh. It's Elohim, 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 Elohim. Now all of a sudden, Yahweh Elohim is mentioned. The Lord God. Yahweh Elohim is mentioned here. What else do you see? It says here, pay attention. Pay attention. These are the generations. These are the generations of the heavens, and of the earth when they were created in the what? In the day that Yahweh Elohim made the earth and the heavens. This creation is a day. This creation took one day. And this creation is going to be about the generations from the heavens, those who live in the heavens, and from that earth. So it's about the generations. This creation is about the generations from heaven and from earth. Those created from the earth and those created from the heavens, in the heavens, the children of light and the children of darkness. That's the generations now that's coming up in this creation. And this creation took one day. And one day with the Lord is as 1,000 years. So you could take that any way you want to. Okay? These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created in the day that Yahweh Elohim made the earth and the heavens. Now listen to the difference of this creation from the 6th-day creation. Listen to the difference, okay? Verse 5, and every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. For Yahweh Elohim had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. And Yahweh Elohim formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. You see, brother, that's just an explanation of what happened and what he did during the 6th-day creation. And the 7th day he rested. That's what that is, brother. Yeah, I know. When you read that in the Bible and you read the commentaries and stuff, that's what they say. That's what these scholars say. Let's see if we could prove them wrong. I say they're totally 100% unequivocally. They are wrong. Again, verse 7, and Yahweh Elohim formed the man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Man became a living soul. We know Yahweh is on the scene now. We know that this creation was done in one day. We know when man was created, there wasn't no herbs or nothing. In the other 6-day creation, he created the man, Adam, and everything was beautiful and set for Adam. And the men, he created them. Male and female, created he him. Male and female, created he them. And this creation that was done in a day, man was created out of the dust of the earth. You haven't read that yet. You read that now in this creation. Man was created out of the dust of the earth in this creation. Right? And he was created before there was anything in the earth. There wasn't nothing on the earth. Well, now, what happened to all the herbs and what happened to all the beauty from the 6-day creation? Why, when this man is being created from the dust of the earth, there's nothing on the earth. He had to make a garden and put the man in the garden to till and keep the garden. And that wouldn't change until Noah. Men were constantly dealing with this dry earth and breaking up the ground and getting clods and all that to try to grow things. It was rough. But once, after he cleansed the earth with the flood, he created things anew. And that's when he would speak to Noah and his sons. But conversation for a different day. It's a lot to this. It's a whole lot to this. All right. Let's go over to let's go to the second chapter. Let's stay here in the second chapter. Let's go to the 18th verse. Let's go to the 18th verse as we start coming to the end of this evening's session. Oh, brother, you still haven't proved it unequivocally that this is another creation. I know. Give me a second. Let's go to the 18th verse. Genesis, second chapter, 18th verse. And pay attention. I told you to put a hook on something, didn't I? Didn't I? When we were on the fifth day of creation, I told you to put a hook on something. So you should have wrote a note down in your book when I told you to put a hook on that. Because I'm about to blow your mind. Genesis, second chapter, 18th verse. Let's get it. And Yahweh Elohim said, it's not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an help fit for him. I will make him an help fit for him. And out of the ground, Yahweh Elohim formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air and brought them unto Adam. And brought them unto Adam, man. He brought it to the man, Adam. That's what Adam means. It's not that it's such a name more than it is a distinction. It's not so much that it's a name, because when he made many of them, they were called Adam. Again, verse 19, and out of the ground, Yahweh Elohim formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. Yah wanted to see what he would call them. Yah's testing them to see what Adam will call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. That's what Yahweh wanted to see. He wanted to see if Adam had gnosis, if he had knowledge, if he was able to remember the names because of his previous existence. Would he be able to remember the names? He was testing Adam to see if he would be able to, if he had gnosis, if he had knowledge. And the scriptures tell you, and Yahweh brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. So Adam had gnosis, he had knowledge. He was able to name them. He already knew the names, in other words. Okay, he already knew the names, in other words. Okay. And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam, there was not found an help fit for him. And Yahweh Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which Yahweh Elohim had taken from man, Adam, made he a woman and brought her unto the man. In this creation, the man would need a womb because there's only one of him created at that time. So it would be perpetual. The seed would have to be perpetual. So since all the hosts were created already in that creation, in those two creations, There was no need to recreate them. So you bring forth this Adam who's made out of the dirt, and they will come through his children. That's why there's children born. And we all come into the world and we all pick a path that we walk on. Go to verse 19 now. And out of the ground, Yahweh Elohim formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air. Out of the ground. And out of the ground, Yahweh Elohim formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air. So in this creation, as opposed to the sixth-day creation, the fowl of the air, the birds, are created from the ground. You ain't read about them being created out of the water, right? What did I tell you? On that fifth day, put a hook in that, right? All right, let's go over there. Let's go over there. Okay. It says here in the 20th verse of the first chapter, and Elohim said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. In the sixth day creation, the fowl, the way you could tell the difference is the fowl, the birds that fly, they were created out of the water. They were created out of the water. And Elohim said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and the fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. I promised you, family, I will show you unequivocally. But now you read over here, in the one-day creation, it says in verse 30, and to every beast of the earth and to every fowl of the air. Well, let's go back one. Okay, let's go back one. Hang on a second. Yeah. And to every beast of the earth and to every fowl of the air. Hang on a second. No, that's not it. I kind of lost my place here. Second 22. Hang on a second. Okay. So ended. Because the heavens and the earth were finished and all the hosts on the seventh day. Right. Want to make sure I get it right and don't mess it up. Okay. We want to make sure we get it right. Right, 22. Gave names to the fowls. Right. Verse 19. Okay, get a little excited there. Verse 19 says, and out of the ground, Yahweh Elohim formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air. So in the second chapter, the 19th verse, it tells you that the fowl of the air was created out of the ground in the one-day creation where Adam was created. In the sixth-day creation, the fowl of the air in the first chapter, right? In the first chapter and the 20th verse, it says, and Elohim said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. In the sixth day creation, on the fifth day, the fowl of the air were created from the water. On the one day creation, the fowl of the air were created from the ground. Two different creations. Two different creations. So what came first? You have the first creation. There was just one heaven and one earth. There was tohu and bohu. It was waste. It was chaos. Indistinguishable ruin. That was the first creation. That was destroyed. Then he would recreate. And he did the sixth creation, where he instituted the Sabbath. Then we come along. Yahweh is on the scene now. Yahweh is on the scene now. And he would create this man out of the dust in a one-day creation. And in the one-day creation, all the things that were created for Adam, in the sixth-day creation, none of that stuff is there. Not even the animals or the birds. He recreates the animals and the birds out of the dirt of out of the dirt. He doesn't recreate them out of water now. He creates them out of the dirt. Because in the first creation, the fish and the fowl were created from the water. In this one-day creation, they would be created from the sand. Three creations. Three creations. Before we say amen and I leave you, I'm going to give you a bonus, family. This is my gift to you. Turn to the book of Proverbs 8. Unequivocally, I showed you three creations. Now I want to show you what I was talking about with light. I showed you in the book of John, when Elohim said, let there be light. Turn to the book of Proverbs. Turn to the 8th chapter. Turn to the 8th chapter of Proverbs. I'll give you this one. This is a gift from me, and then I'll send you home, right? We'll all go on our way. In the book of Proverbs, in the 8th chapter, okay, let's start from verse 22. Proverbs 8th chapter, verse 22. I'm going to read fast because I just want to get this through. I just want you to see this, okay? Proverbs 8th chapter, 22nd verse. Yahweh possessed me in the beginning of his way. This is wisdom speaking herself. He possessed me in the beginning of his way before his works of old. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was, or before the earth even was, okay? When there were no depths, darkness was on the face of the deep, then there was no deep, there was no depth, okay? I was brought forth, just like the light was brought forth, right? Let there be light, and boom, it came forth. I was brought forth when there were no fountains abounding with water, before the fountains of water. Before the mountains were settled, before the hills was I brought forth, before the mountains and the hills. While as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest part of the dust of the world. Before he made that, when he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he set a compass upon the face of the depth, when he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the fountains of the deep, when he gave to the sea its decree that the waters should not pass his commandment, when he appointed the foundations of the earth, then I was by him. I was by Yahweh, as one brought up with him, as one who grew up with him. Listen, we're not in fantasy land. As one brought up with him. And I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him. rejoicing in the habitable part of his earth, the habitable part of his earth. And my delight was with the sons of men. In the beginning, when she dwelt in the habitable part of Yahweh's earth, she daily was his delight, and her delight was the sons of men, the men of light that were there in the beginning, dwelling in the habitable part of Yahweh's earth. Blessings, family. That's the ending of today's session. And if you enjoy my content, I hope you're blessed by it. Do me a favor, hit the like and hit the subscribe button and leave me some comments. If you have any questions or any thoughts, okay, leave comments. Okay, leave some comments and I'll answer your comments or any questions that you might have on the next live session. So thank you for spending time with me this evening, family. And I know it's a deep one. And if you go back and you read or you look at the last two live sessions, the wheat and the tears revealed, and put it with this one, some amazing truth. So blessings, family. Have a great evening, and I'll see you the next time. Blessings to all. Blessings to all.